Good evening, I'm Rosa Clemente, and I will guide you through this live stream event tonight to explain what aids and measures the municipality of Luxembourg can grant to you. And before this stream, lots of citizens have sent us questions. We made a selection here, and based on these questions, you will get all your answers today. First of all, we should like to welcome our guests. Moyen to all of you. Moyen. Mrs. Mayor Lydia Pulver, she's available for all of you answering questions concerning housing and culture matters. Mr. Patrick Goldschmidt, Alderman for Mobility and Environment, you will be competent around climate protection matters for tonight's questions. And Mr. Laurent Moser, Moyen, Financial Alderman for the City of Luxembourg, you're focusing on solidarity allowance and energy premium. But let's start with Mrs. Pulver. Quite generally, for what reason is the City of Luxembourg reinforcing its subsidies or aids? Well, I think that all of us know that right now we are living through times that are not easy. Not easy at all. We are confronted with climate change already. We'd like to encourage people to invest in order to have an improved situation. Patrick Goldschmidt will tell you about this a little bit more. But we're also in times where price increases are huge, and we would like to support our citizens, especially those having a little bit more troubles than others. The prices for housing, but also artists in the 2 years of the pandemic already, they had suffered a lot. So we would like to help them through a whole series of measures. And that's why we are starting with the first type of allowances, a municipal allowance to promote home ownership. Well, the first question, a general one, is the municipal allowance to favor the acquisition of real estate, and what changes will be there for 2023? Well, the City of Luxembourg has decided on such an allowance 3 years ago. All those buying something here in the city will be supported. And this wasn't cheap already years and years ago, and that's why the municipality had made this decision. But we know that in between prices have been increasing even more, and that's why we have decided simply to double these allowances. Well, who can ask for such an allowance? Well, it depends on what you're earning. We have different threshold values that you might earn up to 108,000 euros that you can own or earn yearly as a sole owner, but you should not be an owner already or having the usufructuaries. So from 3,600 as a basis subsidy. And at the time there was 600 euros additionally for every dependent child. We have been doubling this to 7,200 and 1,200 euros per child. So this is really a quite major increase here. And when can this allowance be claimed? Well, the new text will be starting on the 1st of January 2023, but our basic text where the allowance had been introduced at the time, well, it says that this can be claimed from the moment onwards you are moving into your new apartment or housing unit, but you have a whole year still afterwards to do so. So for all those who have put a claim this year already, and not to penalize them, well, from the 1st of January onwards, when in the last 6 or 8 months you had been introducing your claim, you can ask again, and this additional amount will be granted as well. So we have received a question from a citizen. I will read it to you. In this context, as you just explained, she is concerned as well. I received a housing construction allowance of 4,200 euros, being 3,600 plus 600 for a dependent child. I moved into my new home in August 2022. As the allowance will be doubled from January 2023 onwards, I would like to know if I will be able to benefit from the doubling of the allowance, because if I had known that the allowance would be doubled sooner, I would have waited until January 2023 to apply. Well, I can only give a positive answer to this lady. She made her claim quite immediately, and we're really happy about it. So she did a proper job, and not to penalize people who have done so well. She can enter her file again from the 1st of January, and she will receive the premium as it is foreseen now, additionally, according to the new ruler. Excellent. Let's move onwards to support for private performing arts ensembles. Mrs. Pulver, what do the new subsidies for artists look like? Well, it's basically the same as we used to have actually since 1992. They had been adapted once already in 2012. But now they will be doubled on the one hand, and there will be something new additionally. So there will be a subsidy, a help message for professionalization for those having a theater, stage, and being in the private area. So if, there's certain conditions linked to this as well. You will receive this if you have a show produced up to 4 times a year. If you compare with what had been done, you could receive up to 30,000, now up to 60,000 as a whole. And you can accumulate these aids as well. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Yes. It remains as it used to be. Tip-top. Okay, everything is adapted and an additional professionalization premium, but the rest is the same principle. Let's move to another topic concerning new subsidy linked to climate protection. And this is a major topical area now with the COP. There's a lot of discussions about this. In this case, we're talking about the financial aid for the promotion of sustainability, the rational use of energy and national resources, and the development of renewable energy. So, Mr. Goldschmidt, you are our man tonight for these matters. What aids are included in this package of measures? Well, good evening, first of all. This is a whole series, a multitude of aids. Energy improvements in the field of renovation. We are supporting installation of walls, of roofs and slabs, and also the replacement of windows and so-called French windows, porte-fenêtres. Concerning installations for the rational use of renewable energy, we're supporting thermal and or photovoltaic solar installations, but also pellet or wood chip boilers, as well as the heat pumps. Concerning the purchase in the matter of energy efficiency and sustainability measures, we have the purchase and repair of household appliances, dryers, washing machines, also support from the Municipality of Luxembourg Future, also an aid for electric mobility, e-mobility. If you have a new charging station acquired and installed, you will get a subsidy from the City of Luxembourg as well. And last but not least, also a support measure when people have climate change adaptations to harvest rainwater and install green roofs. And how can one apply for these subsidies? Well, quite easy as well. From the 1st of December this year onwards, all the forms can be found on our website. Prime in the plural, primes.vdl.lu with all explanations, and then you can send them in. So prime in French and in plural, .vdl.lu. That's the link that you should keep in mind. In the same context of climate protection, we had another question that came in from a gentleman. You can see it here. And Mrs. Pulver will answer this question. I will read it out to you. Is it possible to install photovoltaic solar panels on a south-facing roof slope in a protected area of Luxembourg City? And do we have the following support measures being announced there as well? Well, this is a really sensitive topic, as a matter of fact, because concerning the protected sectors, especially in the suburbs, the faubourg, so where you have a view from above on the lowlands, so this is protected by UNESCO, and right now it is foreseen in our rules for building permits. We cannot allow this in such a positioning, but we are discussing with other cities being involved in the UNESCO framework in order to verify whether we may draft guidelines, because as of today, industry is not producing photovoltaic surfaces in a way that they could be integrated in roofs of this type. But we think we are on a good path and a good way to make sure that this will be settled differently in the future. And it's not reflecting back so massively, and so in a certain period of time, in a not too far future, we should be able to take other measures. In any case, right now, as it used to be, you need a building permit, especially for that. And these spots that are under UNESCO protection, this is not possible right now, but we're working on it in order to make sure that we find new rules in this area as well. Thank you very much. And then we have a lot of other questions that came in as well in the context of this climate protection, and it helps all or aids all around. And Mr. Goldschmidt will be answering another question. I'm going to reading out this one. For my property, I received some subsidy from the ministry in February 2022, but that's been more than 6 months ago. Does that mean that I can apply for support by the City of Luxembourg? Well, actually, the municipal ruling voted on the 17th of October is to be applied here, and on the 1st of December the forms can be downloaded online, and there's two different aspects being foreseen. We have two categories of subsidies. The only one where we are connecting ours to the state's subsidy. When you get possibly a state subsidy, we will add 50% additionally. And there's one rule to be followed in order to get these subsidies granted. So you have to deliver a certificate delivered after the 1st of December 2022 for the granted subsidy from the state. So you have your demand to the state, your work is being done, and then you ask for financial aid from the state side. So you can have done certain interventions already, and on the 1st of December you will ask for a certificate privilege. And in this case, in this example, well, financial aids were in February 22 already. That's not possible because it was before the 1st of December. And then there's a second part of subsidies where you did not get anything from the state side in buying or repairing electrical appliances or for green roofs. So here, what matters is that the invoice for the work have to be from 1st of December 22 onwards. If this is the case, you get a subsidy. But if you bought or had repaired something before that, well, unfortunately, the invoice from November would be too far away already.
So, in any case, we should remember the date of the 1st of December, be it for this, for the subsidy, for the attestation, or the invoice. Okay, we will continue with the next question. You can see the question on the screen. The question is the following. At the beginning of the year, I have installed 2 rainwater basins to harvest rainwater. One of the water collectors is already bought. I've bought it already. The other one not yet. Can I request a grant retroactively? Well, this is a more concrete example. We are talking about rainwater harvesting. This falls under the category of the subsidies where we orient ourselves with what the government is doing. So if you want to receive a subsidy from the commune, you need to have a proof of a subsidy from the government first of all. So you need to have made a request for a government subsidy first. When it comes to government subsidies, you need to make a request before you've started the work and the renovations. If this person has already made the request at the government, then the question would be whether this request has been granted before or after the 1st of December. In any case, in order to receive a municipality grant, you must have made a request within the government, and the confirmation needs to date later than the 1st of December. So you just said that this grant from the government needs to be dated December 1st or later. In this context, we have the next question, namely, if this condition to receive this demand, if to which condition it is linked. Well, this goes a bit hand in hand with the previous question. It's, however, more precise. I've said earlier that you need to have requested your demand from the government before you start the work. So once the work has been completed and it's paid, the person in charge requests the refund of the costs. Sometimes this takes a few months, and once we have this certificate from the government, we can act. Sometimes we receive requests from people who have concluded their works in 2021, and the certificate is only following now in December, so it is possible indeed. So the date of this attestation of the financial liquidation is what's relevant. This is the certificate where you request the money. Next question. She's talking about innovative heating solutions. You can see the question in French. Will invasive technologies such as electric radiant floor heating be subsidized as well? Will photovoltaic windows be subsidized as well? And well, this is a very interesting and important question indeed. We have actually defined municipality regulation for these subsidies, and we've clearly defined which subsidies are possible. They are linked to the government subsidies, and for this reason it's very important that people understand what subsidies the government is offering. You can contact the climate agency, but of course we can and we may always adapt these regulations in future, taking into account the newer, more innovative energy-saving technologies. So you just mentioned the climate agency. One citizen wanted to know if it is possible for individuals to take the necessary steps to take action, for example, through the climate agency, or do you have to go through companies? Well, this is really interesting. Well, we always say that the certificate from the government is enough for us, and in that case, the person, the citizen, can launch the procedure on their own without going through a company or an agency. Now, depending on which category of subsidies you fall, be it the first category or the second category, you add the invoice and we pay you back the money. Then there is a question from someone asking if the city of Luxembourg will publish a specialized list of the companies who who provide or specialize in installing different energy initiatives. Well, we as a commune don't publish lists, otherwise we risk to perhaps forget a company. But here again, I refer to the Climate Agency. The Climate Agency can give great advice in this regard. What we do, however, is that when it comes to repair, we support people if they want to repair technical equipment in their home, or if they want to exchange them. So there is a national list, and companies can be part of that list. This list is not from us, but we merely tell the people and the companies that they can put their names on that list, simply because it's difficult for people to find information regarding where they can repair their home supplies and home products, the technical equipment they use at home. So I believe this is something that's very interesting for people. People are curious about it because there is another question about this technical home equipment and where to fix it. The question is, how can I obtain aid for the purchase or repair of household appliances? And until when do I have to fill in a form? Well, it's just the same as the other kinds of subsidies. This regulation is valid as of December 1st. From that date on, you will be able to fill in the form. You can use it for purchases and repairs of household appliances as well. And so if you buy your new household appliance, you don't have to take into consideration the date. But if you want to repair your household appliance, keep your invoice needs to be later than the 1st of December. And we have the next question, namely, is it possible to apply for subsidies as a tenant, for example, for the purchase of a tumble dryer or a dishwasher? Well, it's a very important question as well. The answer is yes. Even a tenant, when residing in the city of Luxembourg and being registered at the city of Luxembourg, then he or she has the right to buy or to fix a household appliances and to get a subsidy from the city of Luxembourg. Now we will go over to the NGOs, and the question is if NGOs are also eligible to apply for these subsidies, for instance, if they want to install a water basin, a rainwater basin for rainwater harvesting. Currently, our municipality regulation does not have options for NGOs. So at this stage, it is not possible for NGOs. I would just try to make a general demand with the commune, explaining that they have a project and asking for a subsidy, but it is not possible to receive the subsidy within the new regulation. Thank you very much, Mr. Goldschmidt. Now we will continue with Mr. Moser. We will continue with the solidarity subsidy. Can you explain this allocation and which changes will we see next year? Thank you very much. And a good evening to everybody, all the people who are listening to us. We are going through difficult times right now. And due to the very high energy prices, many people are in a very difficult situation financially. And for this reason, it was very important to us to help these people. And for this reason, we have adapted and increased the number of the grants. Now we have this solidarity subsidy, which exists on government level already. Last year, we already increased it by 26% because back then we wanted to help people during the COVID pandemic. Now we will increase it for another 10%. So within a 2-year time frame, we see an increase of 36%, which is obviously a lot. So how does this solidarity allowance work? Well, it's very easy. All those people who can receive and who receive a solidarity subsidy from the government can receive a solidarity subsidy from us as well. So all those conditions that are valid for the government are valid on municipality level as well. Very good. That was the second part of the question, namely who can request and apply for these subsidies, So you're saying everybody who receives it from the government can receive it from the city of Luxembourg as well? Yes, exactly, as long as they live in the commune, obviously. So the first condition is that the person lives in the city of Luxembourg, and we don't make any difference between Luxembourgish citizen, non-Luxembourgish citizen. Everybody living in the city of Luxembourg has the right to this allowance. If you apply, you can, if you qualify, you can simply apply within the commune. And if you receive this allowance from the government already, you simply forward the proof of that to us. And what about those people who don't receive this allowance from the government? Can they receive it as well? No, because there are certain conditions that have to be fulfilled in order to receive this allowance. The idea is to help those who have a little money. For this reason, this allowance is not for everybody. So only those people who receive the government solidarity allowance can receive it from the municipality as well. Now, in this context, we have another question. The question is in English. Will students be considered in the new bill? Can they benefit as well? No, because students receive the CEDIA subsidy already. It's a very good subsidy already. It's rather substantial. And this grant basically excludes any other subsidy. So students cannot apply for this.
Another question we have received concerning the congés sans solde. So can you get financial assistance if one has been in the congé sans solde since January 2020, so having no salary or other income? Well, this is a relatively simple system. Each and everyone can ask for this allowance. So if you have asked this the state, and you receive it from the state authorities, you can fill in our form, and normally you're entitled here as well concerning unpaid leave, congés sans solde. So you cannot simply answer with yes or no the question as it was asked here, because here again certain conditions have to be fulfilled concerning what you do have as revenue. Even with an unpaid leave, there's a lot of people having other types of revenues than the ones linked to their work. And if these revenues are above the amounts foreseen in the legislation, they are not entitled concerning such and if they fall underneath this threshold value they're entitled, they have to introduce their claim and to fill in a form with us. Thank you. Let's move on with another type of premium concerning the energy premium, prime d'énergie. A lot of interest right now from lots of people because we are in the middle of a major energy crisis. So let me start. What is the prime d'énergie, energy premium, and what changes will be there for 2023? Well, the prime d'énergie has been existing only on the state level. The state authorities have paid such an energy premium, and last year, as a city of Luxembourg, we have decided to get connected to this, but we are the only municipality where such an energy premium would be granted to citizens. What are the conditions? Actually, the same as for the allocation de solidarité, solidarity allowance. We have tried to introduce a very simple system system. Citizens getting an energy premium from the state authorities will automatically get another one from our side under the same conditions. A form will be sent that has to be filled in, and that is in April 2023. It has to be supplied. For the energy premium is a little bit different as the allocation de vie chère. We have the maximum amount of revenues being higher. 25% can be earned additionally, maintaining the entitlement of an energy premium. We are doing this because we think that more people nowadays should be supported by such an energy premium as only the socially weak members of our society. The precise figures are shown on the screen. We had introduced this. It was 200 euros for one person this year. So the former premium, as for the allocation de vie chère, the increase of 10% was decided. So from next year onwards, it's going to be 220 euros for one person. This leads us to a last question, actually, to be answered here in this context, coming from a female citizen. She had asked for such a payment, and it was refused. Well, because my dependent son is getting a student grant, but that's not a salary. Why is this integrated in the state calculation for the grant? Asked the citizen. Well, again, these are conditions as they have been determined by the state authorities, and the state authorities are controlling this as well. I can't tell you why it has been settled that way from the state authorities. Probably due to the serious subsidy that the lady's son is being granted. She is above the threshold value and cannot be underneath again, giving her an entitlement to an energy premium. But it's difficult to give a specific answer to this lady. We should know what's the revenue of this lady, what the serious student grant is of her son, but I don't know this. But the control measures are developed by the state authorities, so I can't tell you why exactly this amount was refused. But I would recommend the lady to contact the state authorities again, asking why they have refused this, and if she lives here in the city as a municipality, and our services will certainly help her if she gets in touch with us, then delivering all specific answers she's to this. Mr. Moser, thank you very much for all your input so far concerning our live stream event we've organized today. Different questions have not been answered here yet. Maybe they were not specifically corresponding to tonight's topic, but all these people will receive an email-based answer still. So non-question remains unanswered, and the City of Luxembourg will be available in the future as well to deliver answers to all your questions. Best thing to do is to check on the VDL page first to see what the competent service is, and then you fill in a contact form, and you will certainly always receive an answer for any question asked. Otherwise, I should like to thank you now very warmly. Thank you for your interest. Thank you from all of us, and have a good evening. Schönen Abend.